Welcome to the Pre-Pod. I'm here with Helen Thompson, childcare educator and baby massage instructor. Hi, Helen.
Hi, Brianna. I'm a great pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward to our chat. It's going to be exciting, especially as you're pregnant as well.
Yes, absolutely. So I'd love for you to share with our audience on a little bit about yourself.
I come from a childcare background. I've been in the childcare industry since 1988, which is a long time. I diverted to baby massage around about 2010 because I wanted to be able to support parents more individually rather than in a group, because I was getting on burnout working in childcare, and I just thought, nah, I've got to do something that I can support parents and families more individually. So that's why I chose baby massage. And it's a wonderful shift, and I've really enjoyed doing that. So that's a brief. I come from Scotland. I was brought up in Scotland, but I now live in Tasmania, which is in Australia.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. I appreciate you sharing that because I love that we were able to meet too with our time zones. At first, I was like, "Oh man, are they gonna hit right or not?" So I'm glad we were able to meet this way. Um, so I wanted to ask, what is baby massage, and how does it help both the parent and baby?
Well, baby massage is basically a way of sort of communicating and touching and bonding with your baby, and it's a light touch. You don't do a really hard touch. It's not like you're going in there like a sort of bull in a china shop and squeezing the muscles, and it's all very gentle, and it's a way of communicating. And we always ask permission before we massage a baby, which I'll explain a little bit down the track. And what was the other question?
Oh, um, how does it help both parent and baby?
Well, you're bonding with your baby and you're connecting with your baby, and it helps with baby. It can help alleviate things like trap wind, and it can soothe colic and alleviate constipation, and it's good for teasing. There's umpteen things. It's also good for develop body muscles and body and mind awareness, coordination. It can help reduce fussiness, and it also helps improve the quality of sleep, and it strengthens and tones the muscles. That's for the baby. And basically the same for the mother or the parent. It gives the parents practical tools to soothe and calm their baby when they're distressed. It can help them alleviate effects of postnatal depression. It helps parents to have a more positive interaction with their baby, and it teaches parents positive touch. And it helps parents become aware of their baby's body, and it helps parents become aware of the baby's cues. I mean, those are just a few. I mean, I could list 20 more, but those are just a few. Those are the ones that I really like to touch on and explain to parents, because a lot of parents don't realize that.
Yeah, I think that's intriguing that it helps with like that positive experience for a parent and a baby. Um, how can you engage with your baby in a more positive way with massage?
Well, I said to you earlier that just a few minutes ago that you ask permission.
Yep.
And so many people say to me, well, how can you tell if a baby wants a massage, because they can't talk? But
yeah,
when you have your baby, you'll realize that babies communicate with you in so many different ways. They communicate with you through their eyes, and they're kicking. So you just basically rub your hands and you just look at them and you ask them if they'd like to have a massage, and you're communicating with them while you're doing that. You're looking into their eyes and you're asking them if they'd like a massage. And if they're kicking their legs and they're very excited, well, that obviously means, yes, I'd like to be touched. And the point about touch is babies thrive on touch. Babies love to be touched and they love to be cuddled, because that's what they actually thrive on. So that's how you this and by talking to your baby all the time when you're doing the massage, you're communicating with them. I mean, for instance, you might be massaging their left leg, and you can say to your baby, I'm just massaging your left leg, I'm just massaging your right leg. So you're teaching them social skills while you're doing that. You're teaching them language, you're teaching them conversation, and you can just have a lovely chat with your babies whilst you're doing it, and sing to them as well. I always encourage parents to sing when they're doing massage. I give them songs that they can do whilst they're massaging their baby, which helps the parent and it helps the child.
I love that, especially the singing part because I'm always about I love singing now
Mm,
with the belly, so um I like that part. Um
yeah.
I'm curious, how do you go about teaching parents how to massage? Because I know a lot of people don't exactly know how to do it.
Well, I actually massage on a doll, which you can, if you see the video behind me, there's two little dolls there.
Yeah.
One once, and I teach massage on the doll because I dearly love to massage the babies, but I don't actually massage the babies because that's all part of the bonding experience for the
Right.
parents, for them to connect with their babies. I just show you the strokes on the doll, and I sort of watch you to see how you're going, and I give you sort of feedback or tips on if you're doing it, not in inverted commas, whether you're doing it right or wrong, because everybody. I mean, there's no right way or wrong way. It's the importance of the touch. But I guide you through the process on the doll, and I tell you, I always start with the legs, and we sort of build up to the tummy, then we do the chest, and then we do the face, and then we turn around and do the back and the legs, the back of the legs and the arms. It's all done in a sequence so that it's fun for the baby. And it's one thing to mention, it's always baby led. So if the
Yeah.
baby's crying, if the baby suddenly starts getting squirmy and doesn't want it, it's really important to stop, because you want to respect your baby.
Yeah.
If you're teaching them, asking them permission, you've also got in turn to respect them. So if they're upset and they don't want to massage, well then respect that, because you're teaching them that autonomy, and you're teaching them, you value them and you respect them at the same time. So, and it's always very light strokes. It's not a deep tissue thing. It's not a deep tissue massage. It's just very light and firm strokes. You don't want to do it too feathery because then it'll be too ticklish. It's just light and firm strokes. So yeah,
Wow.
and yeah.
That's um that's amazing. It's interesting to know, like, I guess you don't realize how even um at that age that they're able to learn all that. It's
Mm.
I think just from for me it's just ignorance because I've never had a child until, now, so I'm learning all the steps of what it will be like and such, but you don't realize how like intuitive I guess they are.
Yeah. Oh, they're very intuitive. They're like sponges. Babies are like sponges. They just love to, if you'll see when you have your baby by just smiling at them. And I can't remember the exact stages of when they start smiling. There's different stages of development, but as I said, each baby's different. When they start smiling at you and kicking their legs and having eye contact with you, it's just gorgeous, because there's so many ways they do that, and it's just, yeah, it's lovely. And it also helps with colic. Did I say that? Did I
Y-
say that it benefits colic as well?
Yeah, actually, with that being said, I do have a question with that of like, what are some natural remedies to help with conditions such as colic, constipation, and gas? Because I know that that can be really huge with babies for most anyway.
Well, from my point of view, I would say baby massage. By massaging the tummy, you're getting rid of all that gas and all that, those bubbles and stuff that helps. And it's also very calming and very soothing for the baby. And you're relaxing the baby as well as relaxing yourself. But one of the things I'd say, if it's baby massage, you always ask permission, as I said. But if your baby's really distressed and you know it's colic, go ahead and massage anyway, but just massage your tummy area. But tell your baby all the time what you're doing and why you're doing it, and sort of say to them, look, I know this is going to be uncomfortable. I know you've got an upset, I mean, I know you've got a bit of colic or constipation, but I'm just going to give you a gentle massage in the tummy to help you soothe it. And if you say that, you're calming yourself down, because your baby picks up on your cues.
Yeah.
If you're distressed, your baby will be distressed. So the most important thing is to be as calm as you can be. And I know that's easier said than done sometimes, but if you just take a big deep breath before you massage and just relax, and even just put your hands on your baby, and your baby will feel you relaxing, it'll help soothe the baby as well. So, and there are other remedies as well, but I don't know what they are, but I think there's some drops or something you can buy for colic, but I don't know enough about that to tell you about that, because I'm not 100% sure, but I know there are other colic remedies as well. And I think you mentioned in your podcast about chiropractors.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've had chiropractors before. I'm not poo-pooing chiropractors at all. I think they're very good, but I personally don't like chiropractors, because I just personally don't like the crunching and the clicking and stuff. But I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying they're not good. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure there are good chiropractors out there, but I think the baby massage is much more soothing. It's much more calm. You've got that connection with the baby, and you've got that connection with yourself, and you're communicating with each other. And I think that's really valuable.
And I know that you said that you actually lead classes with parents and massage with their babies. How have you seen like the differences between when they first started to come to you to like as they progress with you? What are like the differences from when they started to learning the
I've seen a
practice?
lot of difference with colic when babies are constipated, because when you do the colic sequence, or some babies, if they've been constipated for a while, they'll actually fill up their nappy
Oh,
after a couple of strokes. And you really notice, that's some of the things I've noticed. Some parents will say, gosh, I didn't realize, how constipated they were, because I mean, they've just, sometimes people, excuse me for saying this bluntly, but the nappy actually, sort of explode, they really release. And parents have actually commented to me, gosh, that is really amazing, I've never even noticed that before, I've never seen that before. And I've also noticed that after a massage, some babies sort of are more relaxed, and they sleep better because they've been soothed and they've been cuddled, and they actually sleep better. And some parents have also said with teasing, that with the teasing, once it's really sort of calmed them down and helped soothe their teasing problems as well.
wow.
So, I mean, those are just from some clients I've had, that have said that to me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
it is. I mean, it's just, all it is just sort of talking and relaxing with your baby. And there's lots of, yeah. And I think it's to do with melatonin. Have you heard of melatonin? It's a sleep hormone.
Yes.
And when you're massaging your baby, you're actually releasing melatonin, which helps to regulate the body clock, and it helps to relax the baby and sort of let the baby sort of connect with you, and it's very soothing.
Um, and in your classes, because I know it's not always easy for people to communicate, like it is, but it isn't. Like, do you give cues on how to say certain things to ask the baby or to, tell the baby what you're doing? Like, do you help give that advice in your classes as well?
I do as much as I can with that, but it's as I said, it's a bonding experience for you and the mum
Yeah.
and the baby, or even the dad. But I do as much as I can. But it's just basically, as I said, just singing to your baby. And there are certain, when I do the feet, there's certain little songs that I help, give you to help you with the feet, when you're doing them, which also helps with teasing. And just by talking to them, as I said to you before, and expressing what you're doing. And if they're upset, you talk to them. Talking to them and communicating with them all the time, I think, is so important. That way you're giving them the cues. you're giving them the cues, and they can sort of respond whichever they want, whichever the way they want to respond. So it's all to do with communication and bonding and talking to your baby all the time and letting them know what you're doing. That way you're, and I give parents, I sort of give parents some suggestions of what to do. But at the end of the day, it's every parent does it. Every parent has their own way of bonding with their baby.
Yeah.
It's their connection. I mean, they may sing a little lullaby to them while they're doing the colic sequence, or they may just want to just soothe them and say, I know this is going to
Yeah.
it's every mother and every child is so different.
Yeah. That makes
So
sense.
yeah, but
Um,
I think touch, as I said before, the senses are really, it's babies love the senses, and it teaches them. It teaches them their vision. Watching you, you're tracking. They're moving their eyes and watching what you're doing, and it also helps with the hearing because they're hearing your voice
yep.
and they're hearing you say certain words, so they're getting those words in, and they're sensing your smell as well because it's when you're leaning over and you're massaging them, they're getting your smell, so they're bonding with you in that respect, and also the touch, as I said. But I'll mention oils later on, but ask if you want to ask me anything else first before I mention the oils, because that's another important issue.
Yeah. Um, well, I think the first thing that I would say is that I love all the different parts of how it can help the baby, like especially since you're talking about when you're communicating, I'm assuming that after a while, after timing, the baby's gonna start to be like, okay, you know, when she says like kind of cute to when they say this next massage is
Yes.
coming.
Yeah,
It,
they get used to the cues because they know that it's coming, and they get excited, and you can see them getting excited about it. But they may not. Sometimes they may say, look, no, I don't want a massage. They may not want it.
yeah,
And it's also good to be have it in it's a quiet alert state is the best time to massage a baby. And the quiet alert state is when they've just woken up and they're beginning to sort of get ready to sort of play with you and communicate with you. That's a good time to do it. If you miss that section and they get a bit drowsy and they're beginning to want to go to sleep, maybe that's the time when they don't want a massage. It's getting that actual space, and you'll get to know when that is. It's just when they've
yeah,
when they've just woken up and they're nice and relaxed and they're nice and quiet and they're looking at you and they're wanting some sort of attention and communication. That's the best time to massage. And for a newborn, because I know you're having one, so this is why I'm going to mention this, it's probably best not to give them a bath and a massage at the same time,
okay,
because you don't want to overstimulate, especially with newborns. You don't want to overstimulate them.
right,
And I think but once they get to maybe, I don't know, I'm saying 4 months to 6 months, they're a little bit more used to being touched and cuddled more. So you can give them a massage after a bath as well then. But it's just giving them the time to get used to it and giving them the time to get used to it, I guess, is what I'd say there. But not to do it too, not to give them both when they're quite little, and not before a bath, because A, you'll be overstimulating, and B, you'll have lots of oil on your baby, and
oh yeah,
you don't want a slippery baby in the bath. I mean, that won't go down very well.
that's true. That's true. And I'm sure the senses are different too because with a bath, that's different touch, that's a different
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I know some babies don't even like the water feel yet. So
Yes.
I could
Yeah.
see that being like almost a miscommunication where and then they would think that that would be a massage. So you put the two together. So that makes a lot of sense to not. I will note that to not do that.
Yeah, but I mean, give them a massage before sleep. I mean, before
Yeah.
they go to bed, and have a massage routine before you go to bed. with your baby is a great one. I mean, I actually did a podcast myself with a lady. I didn't actually teach her, but she had been taught baby massage, not by me, by somebody else. And I actually interviewed her to get her sort of views on baby massage. And she actually said to me that if she forgot to massage her baby before bed, he was much more restless at night because
Okay.
she'd got so used to massaging him before bed that he got really relaxed and he slept for longer. And I thought that was really interesting feedback to hear from a mother who'd actually done that.
Yeah.
Um, so it was an interesting podcast in that respect, because I was sort of asking her questions from a mother's point of view, and it was interesting for me to get that feedback.
Yeah. That is very interesting because it shows that as well that the baby's responding and now they're like, hey, are you gonna ask me for the massage?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So, and about the oils, do you want me to mention about the oils?
Yes, of course. How do you incorporate them or do you incorporate oils? How does that work?
Well, what we do with oils is when you're asking permission, you're actually rubbing the oil on there. This is a cue for the baby. You actually put a bit of oil on your hands and you're just rubbing it. And that's when you're looking down at the baby and you're asking them permission. So that's a cue for
Okay.
the baby knowing, oh, something's happening here. And you're also warming up your hands at the same time. But the oils to use are like almond oil is good, but it's got to be pure and it's got to be organic. Not if you go to a supermarket, it's not the almond oil you buy from a supermarket. It's a carrier oil and it's pure and it's got to be organic and
Yeah.
mineral free. And the same with sesame oil, with apricot oil. You can even use coconut oil as well, but always do a patch test first.
Yes.
Put a bit of rub a bit on your wrist and do a patch test just in case they've got any allergies. 9 times out of 10, they don't, but you don't want to be rubbing your baby with all this oil and then suddenly they come up in a rash. So that's really, always do a patch test. And people say, well, I've always said to parents to do it about a couple of hours before you're going to massage,
Yeah.
just to make sure there's no redness. And don't use essential oils, because essential oils, I was talking to you about the smell earlier.
Yeah.
You want your baby to smell you. You want your baby to connect with your smell. And using essential oils, it's sort of diffusing your smell, and they're also too strong for babies as well. I love essential oils and I use them all the time, but for babies, I think they're too strong. I mean, there's a lot of people that say use essential oils, and yes, I agree, but not when you're massaging your baby because they're too strong for your baby.
Yeah.
I think that's my view on it. I just think they're too strong, and the important thing to do is by you're massaging them in you've got your smell, as I said, and that's the key. You want them to smell you rather than the essential oil. And I would suggest don't even use a diffuser either, because that way they're still breathing it in.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I know that you said that at the supermarket they're more likely to have like stuff in it. So where would you recommend to buy the oils? Like
Well,
coconut
I
touch.
I always go to a health food store.
Okay.
I don't know what it is where you are. I mean, in Australia, you go to a health food store, you can go to a chemist and just read the ingredients on the back and just read what it says. Just see what's in it. Um, I mean, you can tell if it's got mineral oil or if it's just read the back of the ingredients. If you go to a health food store or if you go to a chemist and you ask for a massage oil for a baby, well then they can give you lots of advice on it, and they can also read the back of it. That's where to go rather than going to the supermarket, because I don't know what your supermarkets are where you are, but the oils we get in the supermarket, they're sesame oil, and yes, you can get almond oil, but they're not refined.
Yeah.
They're most of the time they're not organic, and they might have mineral stuff in them. So that's why I suggest go to a health food store or a chemist and just ask for a massage oil. You can use lotion as well, but I just prefer to use oils because it moisturizes the skin.
Yeah.
Almond oil and sesame oil and apricot oil are very good for moisturizing the skin. And because that, sometimes your baby needs to have their skin moisturized as well as the touch. So yeah.
Plus, it has that I like the feeling when it comes to like a massage in general. I like the feeling of the massage oil versus like lotion. I feel like lotion feels so, I don't know, like thick and creamy.
Icky.
Yeah, it's sticky, and then the massage oil kind of feels like it's um I don't know, makes your skin all soft and I don't know that
Yes.
feeling of
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know how to
exactly.
explain
No,
it, but it
it's
feels good.
no, I know what it's like because I've had both when I've had a massage, and I
Yeah,
prefer the oil because it's just relaxing. It's smooth. It goes down. It smoothes out your body, and you just feel the hands gliding down your body. And when you're doing the legs, you can just glide it down much more easily when
yeah.
you're using oils. So yeah.
Well,
Um,
I love that. I think it's amazing that this is an option because I know that you heard the podcast where I talked about potentially a chiropractor. Um, at, and I think it's nice that there are other ways to help, especially with colic and constipation. And it sounds like teething and sleeping. So it's like
mm,
baby massage hits a lot of parts that I didn't realize that it could hit uh, to help.
yeah. Oh, I've only mentioned a few. I mean,
I know.
there's a lot. It helps with sort of body awareness. It also helps with brain development as well, because when you're talking and communicating with your baby, you're helping them to develop their brain. Oh, there's umpteen. I mean, as I said to you, I could run off a whole list, but that would be a boring. I think that would be a bit of a boring podcast if I did that. So
Well, it's still
yeah.
helpful. I think it's cool like there's just so many ways. Um, so one of the questions I did want to ask is I know you talked about how it can help with bonding, but I also know that it can help enhance your confidence um, as a parent. How does it do that? Like to how does it help that confidence as a parent?
That's a good question. If you're, I guess if you've got postnatal depression, or if you're at a stage where you just sort of don't want to sort of communicate too much with your baby, by giving them a massage, you're connecting and you're giving each other support because you're talking to them, and yeah, I keep coming back to the word communication, because you're communicating with them and you're supporting them. That helps you then to build your confidence to have a better bond with your baby. Because if even if you just touch your legs, you don't have to give them a full massage every time. But if you're breastfeeding, for instance, or even bottle feeding, I'll just either if you're feeding, you can just give them a little rub on the foot, and you're bonding with them and you're connecting with them. So that helps you to build your confidence. I mean, if they're crying and they're really upset and you're thinking, gosh, help, what can I do? When you're feeding, just rub their foot or just touch their face and just talk to them. And it's building up your confidence, and that's building your support, and it's building the baby support, it's building the touch, it's building the bond, it's building a communication between both of you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It makes me think of like how like you're a team, like because I
Yes,
know baby's
exactly.
learning about you and you're learning about baby, and so it seems like
Yeah,
a team effort kind of thing.
yeah, it is. And learning to respect each other too. I
Yeah,
mean, there might be a time when you don't want to touch your baby, but then there might also be a time when your baby doesn't want to be touched.
yeah,
So it's just building that connection between the two of you. Um, and the other thing is, it also builds the father's confidence as well, because I always sort of, if a mother is feeding them all the time and changing I say nappy, you say diaper, but if a mother is always changing the diaper or whatever, sometimes the father doesn't have that connection with their baby.
yeah.
and for them to massage their baby, it helps build up their confidence to bond and connect with their baby.
And
Is that, yeah?
actually, that's actually a really great point that you bring up, because I know that there are some moms out there that solely do the feeding and solely do it because if they're breastfeeding, you're mostly it's you. So
Mm-hmm.
it's another, I feel like that's another nice element to have so that dad can be a part of
Yeah,
their bond, because you do want, I mean, you do want that too, I'm sure.
yeah. It's nice to have the both, and that's another good point, because a lot of parents don't, dads don't have that, and if I do one-on-one classes, which I haven't done for a while because of COVID, I always encourage dads to be a part of it as well, because I think that's so important. I mean, if you've got twins, for example, dad can massage one and mum can massage the other, or even if you don't have twins, whilst after 45 minutes after a feed, for instance, the dad wants to connect and put the baby to bed, well, then they can give him a massage while mum's relaxing and listening to some music, or because that's always a nice time, because I know mums sometimes may need that space on their own without the baby.
Yeah,
So
that
yeah.
actually, I mean, for myself, I know that I want to breastfeed and pump so that my husband can have a bond. But I think that massage would be pretty interesting for
Mm-hmm.
him because um, I feel like it would be nice for him to have that bond. So I'm actually going to consider that highly for him to
Mm-hmm.
also administer massages as well.
Oh yeah, it's good. You can both do it too.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
and I know that you said that one-on-ones, COVID did put that to a halt, but I think I read that you do Zoom calls, right? For
Yes, I do. Yeah.
yeah.
I have on my website, mybabymassage.net, I have Zoom calls. I also have a very, very basic course solely for colic.
Okay.
And it's all online. It's not Zoom. It's got videos, and I sort of explain it, but it's not me. I mean, it is me, but it's solely online. It's not like a Zoom course where you've got maybe 5 or 6 people. It's just you can buy it and you just go through it. There's 3 different modules, and the first one is just explaining a little bit about baby massage and when not to massage and when to massage. The second module is all about the colic sequence and what to do. And then the third module has got lots of other things you can do on the tummy, which can also help with colic, constipation, digestion. And that's solely online, but I also do Zoom courses as well. And down the track, I'm hoping to do more sort of individual workshops on different topics, for instance, teething, or for instance, sleep. But that's down the track. I haven't got around to doing that yet, but I'm hoping to do that down the track, to have just individual courses. So people, if they don't want to do the full baby massage course, they don't have to. They can just do individual workshops. So as I said, that's down the track. It's not now,
I do like
but
that with the colic one that that's almost, it sounds like it's self-led. So, if you, because sometimes it's hard, I feel like, with being live on Zoom because of like timing. So it's nice that you have the colic one where you can go in when you can and do the module. But also I love the fact that you have Zoom too, because that's um awesome to have that as well. So I I think that's cool.
yeah. So I mean, the colic one, I call it Colicky Baby 101, because it is about colic. But having said that, and I mentioned this in module 1, I think I also mentioned at the end of module 2. Um, it's not. it is for colic, but it also helps with digestion. It also helps with constipation and just a general tummy health. It's
Yeah.
I call it the Colicky Baby 101 course because it is for colic, but it helps with all the other things as well. So yeah.
Yeah. Which that's really helpful because I know my friends that have babies already. I know that they are a lot of the struggles has been like constipation or gas, um, and then just trying to help baby like, you know, work it through. So I think that that's very beneficial to have. So
Yeah, I think I've spoken to a lot of nurses about constipation, and it's actually very interesting to hear what they say as well, because you never, I think with the baby in constipation, there are certain times when you know that they're all they're having, if you think about it, all babies are eating is either your breast milk or formula.
yeah.
So I mean, their little tummies probably aren't ready to have a sort of full thick bowel movement. You'll notice that. I mean, I'm not qualified in this. I'm just putting this tip in here for you.
Yeah.
There's you have different, when your baby's born, there are different sort of variations of the poo, if you see what I mean. Sometimes they're very runny, but it's not, there's nothing wrong with that. And I actually did a podcast talking to a lady who is called, she had a book called Nurse in the Pocket. Her name is Becca Shepherd. She's a nurse, and she did a book for sort of mums like you who were just having a new baby and thinking, oh gosh, what does this mean? Why has the baby got this rash? Why is my baby constipated? Is my baby this? And she gives you a lot of really good tips on how to resolve those. So that might be something interesting for you to have a look at,
Yeah.
for you and for your audience as well. I mean, if it's I'll put the link in the show notes. I can't remember that. I think it's one of my earlier podcasts.
Yeah. That would be
So
perfect. And while we're talking about your podcast, what is it called and where can they find your podcast?
my podcast is called First Time Mums Chat, and you can find it on my website. But I was going to say, if you go to a special link for your audience, it'll give you all the information. If you go to mybabymassage.net/the Brie Pod, you will get all that information. You'll get the information about my podcast, you'll get information about my courses, and you'll get information about all the things that I do to help you. You'll get, and I'm also on Instagram at Baby Massage Helen. And I also have a Facebook page, which is a little bit quiet at the moment because I've mainly shifted to Instagram. Yeah, so you can get all that information if you go to that link on that I've just given you. You get all that information about my podcast, about what I do, and how I can support mums in different ways.
Yeah. Thank you. I think that is such a helpful resource and tool, especially since you have talked to so many people from so many different backgrounds and then your own background. I mean, I think that's a lot of helpful tips that you just need. And as you know, this literally is my first time being a mom, so I definitely plan to utilize your resources.
Well, I hope you have fun with your baby and you bond and connect, and then congratulations. It's very exciting having a new baby in your life. I just want to congratulate you and wish you all the best.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm definitely I do want to look into your one of your classes because I did see that you have time slots that work for people from the United States as well. I noticed that you created some spots for us, so that's
I've
helpful.
tried to. Yeah, it's hard to get the time difference right.
Yeah, I know.
For me and for you, because sometimes it's late for me and early for you, and you've also, with getting a baby, working it out a time for each baby is not always that easy. So yeah.
That is true. That is something I'm gonna have to learn when he comes to see what his I don't want to say schedule because I know it's not a schedule, but what his
Routine, maybe.
yeah, routine, yeah. So
Yeah.
um
Well, set up a routine. Have a routine for, if you have a routine at the very beginning, it'll probably sort of help a little bit. But then you've got to get to know your baby, and that's the hard. You've got to get to know each other first, I think.
yeah. And I think that's what I like about what you do with baby massage. It seems like it helps. It's a nice way to get to know your baby
Yeah,
because,
absolutely.
you really are, even though um he's gonna have my DNA and everything, it really is like getting to know someone new. It's just
Yes,
kind of fun,
absolutely.
It's like building that relationship. So that's I think that's interesting.
Yeah, no, it's as I said, it's lovely experience to do. I mean, I wish I could massage more babies. But I only massage adults. I very rarely do I massage a baby because, as I said, it's a connection for the mum and a connection for the dad, not for me.
Yeah.
So, and in my classes, I always say to people that if there's a situation where your baby's crying or your baby's upset or you need to change his diaper or nappy or breastfeed, that's okay. You don't have to sort of be present all the time, because you can always watch and learn from by watching. When I'm doing something, you can still learn. Just because you're not massaging, you can still learn how to do it and come back to it later.
That actually makes a lot of sense because I know we'll be living on the baby's time. So, but it is nice to
Yes.
have those skills. So what do you for anyone that is listening that is interested in your class, what can they expect from going to a class?
What, for a one-on-one or for a Zoom
Oh,
class?
for Zoom, sorry.
Um, I mean, it depends if it's one-on-one or groups. But if it's a group, I try to be supportive of each parent. I mean, what I basically do on the Zoom classes is I go through each section. Like, I go through the legs, and then I go through the tummy, and then I go through the chest, and I take it in stages, and I stop and ask if anybody's got any questions and any support. So I may not get through a whole massage in the whole, in a whole class, because my aim is to support the mums, to make sure that they understand how to do it and that they feel confident before we go on to the next stage. So I guess I try to be as informative and make it as informative, but also as simple as possible. Does that make, so that they can have time to ask me questions.
Yeah.
And I have, it's sort of, the Zoom classes are more like, it's sort of a slideshow, that I go through different things, and then I stop and do a video and show you how to do it, and then we sort of go through a different topic, and then I'll start on another part of the body. And I think there are three different sections on the site. You'll see it if you look. There's three different sections that I call the classes. And they're around about 45 minutes. And this is something which I've got to work on, because sometimes 45 minutes is too long for a mum
Yeah.
to do the whole class. So I haven't done any Zoom classes for a while, because I'm sort of trying to work out different ways to do them. But that's basically the plan of the Zoom classes. That if somebody books, that's what they get. They get three different sections. And I may do the whole lot in one class. It really depends on the questions and what sort of support I get and what feedback I get from the mums as well. Because, as I said, my aim is to support you guys rather than to push through it, to push through the whole course and get it done in 45 minutes. I would rather be able to support you and ask you if you have any questions, and make sure you understand before we move on to the next one.
Yeah. I think
So,
that's absolutely helpful, like to be able, and I'm sure the other parents that are also involved may have that same question or may need that advice as well. So that's, I think that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's the sort of plan with this. That's what I aim to do with the Zoom courses, and the videos are all sort of on different sections. So as I said, I start with the legs, and I go through it in different stages. So yeah.
I do have one question before we go for um the people that may be watching on YouTube. Do you have a small, like not the whole thing, but do you have a small example of massage that you could show us on the doll right now?
Yeah, if you want me
Just
to. If
yeah.
you can see it, I haven't got two cameras, but I'll just go and get one. I'll go and get one, and
Okay.
I'll show you. Oh,
Oh
oh,
no.
sorry, Clara. Clara fell on the
Oh
floor.
no.
Oh dear, she bumped her head.
Oh
So
no.
what would you like to, what, I mean, it's a bit tricky to show you. Maybe I can do a leg one. Or
Yeah.
I'll do one on the feet because you can see the feet a
Okay.
bit more clearly.
Yeah.
So can you see, can you see that on
Yep.
that foot?
I could see the
So
foot.
the one I was talking to you about when you're breastfeeding,
Mhm.
I don't know if you're aware of, again, I'm not qualified in this, but I know a little bit through baby massage and through my childcare. Have you heard of reflexology?
A little bit.
Yeah, well, as you're aware, as you may be aware, reflexology links to all the different parts of your body, all the different parts of your feet, and with your toes relate to your teeth, and it all relates to different parts of your body. So this one here, if you just rub in the center of your baby's foot, can you see? Yeah, can you?
Yep, I
Is
can
that
see it.
better?
Yeah, that's better. There
Yeah,
we go.
sorry, Clara. I'm not being very nice to you. I mean, Jack, I'm not being very nice to you. I'm knocking you all about. Um, if you just rub in a circular motion in there, that can actually be very calming and very soothing. And it really helps to sort of, if you're busy, if your baby's fussy and you're breastfeeding, if you just gently rub there, it's actually going to be very calming for the baby.
What?
And the other one, I'll quickly go, is teasing, but you won't need this until you're baby's a little bit further along. But you can also, if you just do the toes from the big toe. Oops, I'm trying to show you the big toe from the big toe here, and you're just squeezing it's difficult to show you on Jack because his feet are very scrunched up, but your baby's feet won't be as scrunched up as he is. You just squeeze each toe and you just go. And you can sing a song while you're doing that. You know the song, One Little Piggy Went to the Market. You know
Oh
that
yeah.
song?
Yep.
Yeah, you can sing that song while you're doing that. And instead of saying, you add in he's having a massage, and you can make the song up as you go along, and then you do the same on the other foot. And also you won't be able to see this. I'll do this on my hand. But if you're massaging your baby's feet like this imagine these are your toes.
Right.
And if you actually put your hand on top of your baby's foot like that, you'll see your baby's toes may be crunched up like this. But if you actually put your hand on top of your baby's foot, you'll see them sort of gently stretching them. And that's a really good one to do. After you've done this, if you go
Right.
like that, I call it hold and release by putting your hand just on top. Sorry, Jack, I'm bending your foot. Don't do this to your babies, by
Yeah.
the way. Don't sort of bend your baby's foot like this. I'm just doing this to show you. Can you see the top of his foot there?
Yes. Yep.
So if you're going like that,
And
that's what
he's
you call the hold and release, and his little toes, instead of being like this, will sort of gradually open up. And
okay.
that's a good one to do as well. And there are leg ones as well. I actually have, I think it's on the website the link that I gave you. I actually have a few lead magnets, which are, what I mean by a lead magnet is I have some pictures to show you of how you can do those things. You have to download it,
Okay.
but On the on that page there are downloads where you can get that, and if they aren't there, I'll make sure that they're put in the show notes for you.
Yeah, that would be great. Also a side note, when you were actually doing the toes, my son kicked me.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, he's probably thinking, oh, I like the sound of this, I want to have this, I want. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can also do it on the head as well, and by what I call, I wonder if I can sit. I'm trying to get it to sit up here. Right. Always support your baby, by the way, and always when you're doing a massage, make it cozy and comfortable, and do it on the floor. Don't sort of sit them up like this, like I'm doing on a table, because it's going to be safe for them. I was going to say you can do what I call shampooing the scalp by just going like this, and that can be very soothing.
Okay.
Always be careful of as you may be aware, when your baby's born, you have 2 soft spots on your baby's head, and you have to be careful not to rub on a soft spot on your baby's head. I don't know if you're aware of that, but babies have 2 soft spots on top of their head.
No, I actually
One
did
in the
not know
middle,
that. Yeah.
and I think there's one at the back. I think one's called the one. I'm not sure. I think one's called the fontanelle and one's called the. I'm not sure what the other one's called, but anyway, they have 2 soft spots on the back of their head. So yeah, just massaging their head. Sorry, Jack. Like that. I mean, those are some of the things. I hope that was demonstrated, because normally when I do Zoom classes, it's something I have 2 cameras,
Oh, yes. Yeah.
so you can actually see. Because when I'm doing it like this, it's hard to actually see. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can do tummy time when you can also do tummy time when they're on the back as well, and you can just rub their back like. Yeah, there are some routines that I've got that I can show you that I'll put in the show notes. I'll get Jonathan to do that. I'll put them in the show notes for you.
Yeah, I
But
really appreciate that.
they're sort of what I call a lead magnet. So it gives you the tips, but you need to download them in order to get them.
Yeah, that's
So
understandable. Yeah. Well, I appreciate everything that you have brought here to us and to the audience, and um just like in better and deeper understanding of baby massage and how much it sorry, he's kicking me. How
oh,
much it
that's
can
nice. Is he
he's
kicking you really?
he'll kick like right on the side. I don't know, like right on the side here, right here.
Oh, right.
So he
Yes.
just likes to kick there. Well, I don't want to say kick because it's not always painful or anything, but I'll feel like a foot go.
Yeah, he's
So
probably moving around in there, getting excited about all this massage stuff that we're
yeah,
talking
I
about.
think I think it is Liam approved. He's approving of the massage, which I think it's beautiful, and I'm so happy that I was able to find you. And that, well, you found my post, but I'm happy that I found you because I think that this was super beneficial and actually more than I expected. Because originally, like I said, I was thinking chiropractor.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, but I didn't know that there was, I mean, I knew that there's massage, but I didn't know that it could be focused on a baby, I should say. So thank you.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And this is Jack, by the way. I'm just
Yeah.
giving him a bit of a foot massage while I'm talking to you. No, it's actually his hand. Sorry, I thought it was his foot, but it's actually his hand. So,
Well,
yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you too.
yeah. And just one more time, what is your website so the listeners are able to find you?
Mybabymassage.net / the Brepod.
Perfect.
And
And
that's just for your listeners.
oh, thank you so much. It's been an honor to have you here, and I definitely love that you'll have the links of your own podcast because I know that you have so many people that would be great resources for myself that I'll be listening to as well. So I appreciate that as well.
Well, no, thank you. That's first time mums chat, and it's on Apple, it's on Spotify, Google. But if you go to my website, you can actually key in there's a search facility. If you go onto the website on the podcast, there's actually a search facility, and if you key in the things I've mentioned,
yeah.
the one in in this interview, you can actually find those by just putting in the key word. Like I said, there was one on baby massage. I've done a few myself on baby massage, but I've also, as I said, spoken to a mum, and there's also one about talking and how you can tell what your baby's saying to you. That wasn't me. That's it's called the Dunstan baby language. That's got nothing to do with baby massage, but that's actually quite an interesting podcast. You can tell what the different cries mean.
Yeah, that's actually very interesting. You bring a lot to the table that I
Yes,
really
I'm sorry. I'm being a little adapting a little bit here. So yeah.
Oh no, no, this is so good. No, this is extremely good. And like I said with you, especially being first time mom, like all of these resources I'm super open to. So thank you so much. Um, and I appreciate having you on here.
Well, thank you for having me, Brianna. I've enjoyed talking to you, and I hope it's been beneficial.
Absolutely. Um, so for those that listen to the Brie Pod, I always end with you are loved, you are worthy, you are cherished, and we are proud of you. Until next time on the Brie